For the very last time in the round of 16, we have one game to go. It's going to be Jaedong versus ForGG in a match that will see one of them go to the playoffs to play this weekend in Krakow at the big venue with the live audience. So we're looking forward to this one, but which player is it going to be? Joining me on the desk to find out, it is In Control, looking curiously because he's interested to know who goes through.
We always start the same way. How are you doing? How has this WCS been for you?
You know, it's been really good. Actually, I've been having a pretty good time hosting. You know, I miss being this side of the desk with you guys. I feel like I'm the one allowing you guys to banter between each other, and I can't quite join in myself, so I'm a little bit lonely.
Yeah, we all miss you as caster too, man.
Thanks, man. I miss it too. I miss it too.
And your YouTube videos, I miss that as well.
Yeah, that's a long time, that one. Thanks, Jeff, for the old reminder. Let's take a look at the bracket. By the way, if anyone didn't know, In Control is 30 years old. 30 years old in 55 minutes from now. Just want to throw that one out there.
That's throwing me for a loop.
Lilbo went through in first place, as we've already known, but ForGG in Jaedong is the last remaining match of the evening. And it's meant to be, it's supposed to be, one of the great matches of the week.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is going to be one of the best ones of today. You know, earlier today we were talking about this a little bit. Like, this has been a really good day of StarCraft. Now, the last two series, they were a little bit one-sided, but this could still be fireworks towards the end. I think it's going to be very close. I'm not actually sure who is the big favorite. I think most people are leaning towards Jaedong, but ForGG in TVZ can be a
tricky
I
guy.
hope so. To be honest, to bring a little bit of honesty to the analyst desk. You know, a lot of times
We've had a
most
lot
of the time
of
we
honesty.
lie,
I mean,
they can get a little bit hypey. Oh, every match is so good, I know, but ZvT can sometimes be very snowbally, where like one guy just gains momentum and the other guy just folds immediately. There have been great TVZ matches, but I feel like it's been, I mean, that was almost a super dangerous comment because it was like, clearly you didn't watch last night. There are some good ones, but I just hope it's not so one-sided. I would love this to go
the distance.
The distance. Epic. And just at the end of it, sweat pouring off their sleek, glistening bodies. And
I mean, the first 3 or 4 series today were really good. That PvP between Mana and Elfie and the series with
the games have been
Kung Fu.
good. I mean, TVZ specifically.
Yeah. And do remember, at the end of the day as well, especially for you guys at home, we're going to be drawing the playoffs later tonight. So don't go anywhere once this series finishes. But let's take a look at our first player, who's now set up on stage. And we've mentioned it time after time after time. This is going to be a difficult one for ForGG because we've just seen how well Jaedong's played. But ForGG, I think it was it Pig or Nathania said that this guy's capable of playing mech, and this can be a real weakness of Jaedong.
We've seen that as well, the Intox 3 Masters in Gamescom, in multiple matchups. In TVT he loves it, but in TVZ he's done it so often in the past. I felt he was even playing ahead of time. You know, that DreamHack that he won at the end of 2014, there was a lot of mech in there. You know, when he went bio, that was actually the surprise. Him going mech wasn't a surprise, it was the other way around. But this is a very big series for ForGG. Obviously it's a big series for anyone. It's an elimination match in the round of 16. But in the start of the year, if you would have told me that after 3 seasons, the best performance ForGG would have in this WCS year would be a quarterfinals, I would have said, like, come on, that's ridiculous. He's going to make at least 1 semis, if not a final, if not win one. Like, we go back in time 4 or 5 months ago. If you ask people who is going to win WCS Season 1 in 2015, the majority of the people said, I think ForGG is going to take it. You know, he just won one of the most stacked tournaments of 2014. He was a big favorite, and now suddenly we all expect him to go out in the round of 16. It's really crazy how things change so quick.
And looking at 2013 and 2014, he finished both years mid-20s, and here he is again in 2015. It meant to be the, especially for ForGG, the easier way to get to the global finals, and he's still mid-20s.
Yeah, and it's, I want to say actually WCS has gotten, I want to say harder actually, I think in many different ways. You have to get it done in the WCS season for the most part. There's less extra WCS events going on outside of it. And while it has been regionalized, and obviously we don't have quite the flood of Koreans, ForGG was always doing it in Europe, where he was playing against pretty good European players, and now it's a pretty strong mix. Like, it's the top Europeans, some of the top North Americans, and then there's, of course, still the Koreans playing with us as well.
I mean, there's starting to definitely, well, at least I am starting to feel a little bit of hype around ForGG coming into this one, but of course we can't forget about Jaedong, who played a flawless victory against Tigers. Absolutely brilliant game.
Yeah, I loved it from start to finish, and that's kind of what I said. We all expected him to advance in that series, or, you know, against Igas, but it's most importantly, how is he going to advance? If it's going to be a scrappy 2-1 series, then you're not feeling good about going up to ForGG in the next match. But that victory, I think it's exactly how Jaedong wanted it and how he needed it as well. Mechanically, he looks so strong and so flawed.
He's looked great this year in WCS in itself. He hasn't really played that much because he missed Season 1, but Season 2, he went to the quarterfinals. He lost against the champion. I mean, you can't really say that's a very negative thing, and he's come into Season 3 and he's looking just as good.
And he does look good. Go ahead.
Yeah, and even better, the champion that he did lose to in Season 2, recently he got his revenge on that guy, so he knows as well. It's like, okay, I lost against that person in Season 2, but that person is beatable for me right now. I have done it. So I think if Jaedong feels, if he makes to the quarters, you know, he can go all the way. I don't think there's anyone here that Jaedong looks at as like, I don't think I can beat that guy. I actually think maybe he thinks Lil Bao is the scariest opponent of them all.
And that series was really close, which is kind of nice for him.
And I think that you have to credit Jaedong. When coming into Season 2, when you look at the points and the rank, he was a literal nobody because he had no points, he had no rank, and he completely flipped that around. He's now coming into the 20s just about. And to do that with missing Season 1 and having to perform, and as you said, little tournaments, he has had a really, really solid 6 months.
He has, and it's been showing. I like Kevin's comment. It's not just that he has one, it's also how he has one. And Jaedong's one of those players where it's been kind of shaky in the past. Like, it'll be a 2-1, but it's like the Lings got past the depot wall that didn't raise, and it's like, holy crap, you know? And those kind of things have happened. But lately, in these wins, they've been very convincing. And even the loss to Lil Bo was one of the best series we've had in the last few days. It was awesome.
Okay, very let's check in with the map pool then. So the players have now clicked in, have locked in the maps that we're going to be playing on, and it's Cactus Valley, Terraform, and Iron Fortress.
Surely they jest.
Where is
Where's Coda?
Where's Coda?
No.
Anyone?
No.
Where's it gone? This has
Mr. Morheim.
Coda's gone. What happened to it?
It just has to be a graphical thing. No, but in all seriousness, like, it's 4 maps that have been rotating around. We're still not seeing... We literally have not seen Moonlight Madness a single time. Dash and Terminal is up there with one of the more rare ones. But looking at these maps, Cactus Valley, a 4-player map, kind of the same analysis we talked about in the past. It can get a little bit weird there. If we are going to see mech, Cactus Valley, not the best map for that. This is a pretty okay map for, like, you can get certain kind of pushes where you're going up against their third base off of yours if you have, like, both bottom left and bottom right bases. It's okay to take 4 base on, so it could be the Turtle Mech map if we get there, but also keep in mind, ForGG loves his Hellions. He's like a mass Hellion guy as well.
I mean, on that note, is Coda being eliminated the very thing that, you know, we're talking mech, but, you know, this is a great mech map, and it's gone by Jaedong.
Can you do that one more time?
Mech. Hit from the north, hit from the south.
No, I think you're spot on there. And if I look at this map pool, I'm kind of feeling Bio game 1, maybe mech on Terraform. There's nothing wrong with mech on Terraform. And then the last map, Iron Fortress, that's kind of like you can do both. Mech in general is not superb on Iron Fortress. Yeah, but it's not impossible either. But the first map, Cactus Valley, I'm very curious what ForGG is going to bring us. Maybe some crazy Hellion play, maybe some double factory opening, or just a very greedy Bio build where his upgrades are very quick. You know, 1 Reaper into CC, into double eBay, something like that. Because I do think that ForGG looks at it and being like, man, Jaedong looked good so far. I'm going to have to cut a corner or 2 here and there to make sure I don't fall behind.
We've been seeing, Hellbats too, when these Terrans have their backs up against the wall. It's like the new Proxy 2 racks, like, oh, try my normal builds, and it's like, oh god, I'm in elimination, time to get out the Hellbats. Like, that's what it's been the last couple of times. Even Polt actually just kind of said it. He's like, I didn't want to show this, but alright, Hellbats.
ForGG is known for that type of early aggression as well, so it definitely could be a likelihood.
Yeah, he has shown us some of the most ridiculous things we've seen in the past. Like, we've seen him open up 1 base and stay on 1 base in a TVZ in a tournament final, or all just like pulling our hairs out. It's like, you can actually win with Hellbats and Banshees in tournament finals. Like, that doesn't make any sense. But if there's one guy who's crazy enough to do it, it is ForGG.
Alright, let's check in with the predictions then. So, see where you guys have gone. And I think it was pretty close, to be fair, when we were talking about it. No one really knew exactly which way to go, but we have swung in favor of Jaedong, 5-3. In Control, you've chosen Jaedong. Rotterdam, you've also chosen Jaedong.
I must say, though, the 3 guys that went for ForGG are also the 3 guys that are leading the pack, I believe, when it comes to predictions. So
well, Funka, I think, is up there, right?
Funka's up there, but he hasn't chosen him. But they have chosen ForGG, but you guys do believe in the JD. You believe?
I think he's the favorite. I mean, it's also something to be said that he's sitting there. He had a really comfortable, nice ZvT series against Igas. It's kind of a warm-up, to be honest.
Yeah.
ForGG has to transfer over. He's got his settings locked in. He's had time to warm up, so it's not like they're just like, sit down and play, go. But still, there is something to be said for what Jaedong has done, and I think that comfortable position is going to serve him well here.
Yeah, I'm with Jeff on this one as well. And also in the games that ForGG played, even though he did go to game 3 against Lil Bao, I didn't feel he looked extremely good. And even in the series he won against Igas, yeah, those games were short, but it's also one push. He's losing 15 SCVs at home. If he doesn't win on that moment immediately, he's incredibly far behind. So he's looked good, but he hasn't looked super convincing yet. So he would really have to step it up a notch to defeat Jaedong over here.
All right, thank you very much. You've heard what these guys think about this upcoming match. Let us know what you think as well with the hashtag WCS. Join us on Twitter, but we are now ready for the game. Remember, we're drawing the playoffs later, so don't go anywhere after this, but for now, it's Jaedong versus ForGG.
That's right. It is time to play out the last series of the night here at the World Championship Series round of 16 Premier League, and everyone's divided. Pig, everyone's divided.
We got the Jaedong fanboys out in force, the ForGG mech lovers as well. I mean, this is such an exciting matchup. Two players who have both had such high highs, but also of late have not quite been at that championship winning level, but they've never lost that spark. They've always been at that point where they are capable of taking on anyone. I mean, ForGG here, recently at Gamescom, had an amazing run, took innovation to the 5th and final map of a best of 5. Jaedong also, he's been doing well recently over in Canada at Hell at Sabut time, as well as a few other events. He's starting to really pick it back up.
Yeah, these are two guys that haven't busted out, the big championships all that much over the course of the last year or so. Most notably, ForGG just had a phenomenal, finish to 2014, but his 2015, it's been here and there. I think a lot of people thought he was going to be very successful in the new WCS system as one of the few Koreans that remained in it, whereas Jaedong missed out on Season 1, but is still somehow, after missing basically the first third of the year, a contender for BlizzCon.
Yeah, he's still got that long shot option, they both do, but it really is a matter of they've got to make it to that finals, and I mean, most probably they're going to have to win the finals in order to actually get to BlizzCon. So it's one of these feats which is possible, but to have come through this group of death, to have, such a, I guess the second hardest group or one of the hardest ones out there, and, to have to eliminate each other now, it's going to be very difficult, very hard fought match. And it's these points where I think Jaedong strikes out as a player to me who, he's got that bluff. He's got that sort of poker mentality of he's not afraid to open up with a 6-pool on a 4-player map in game 1 when it's all on the line.
And the thing about ForGG is when you look at the way he plays, it's not like he's difficult to study. ForGG streams pretty much every waking hour of the day, and when he's not streaming, he's rebroadcasting his stream so you can still watch him anyway. And he's very easy to study. And the thing is, he still has such a good variety of builds that you can't be like, okay, I know he's going to do this opening every game, because he'll throw out a 2-Rax here and there. He'll do the Hellbat builds, and as the guys at the desk were saying, we've seen him bust out 1-base plays, which, as crazy as that sounds, has actually worked for him before.
Yeah, when you're playing 50 games a day, you get time to practice a lot of different styles. And ForGG is a guy known for his just patented aggression. He loves to get in the face of Zerg opponents. And I think that's something which makes this matchup particularly exciting, because you've got Jaedong, a very aggressive player, looking to grab edges at every moment. And ForGG, in the same vein, wants to get in the Zerg's face, wants to limit his build-up, wants to get damage done. And really, who is going to come out of that early game phase on top is going to be a big deciding factor in this coming match, because I think everyone has their eyes set on what ForGG's been showing us in recent months, which is a big 170 supply mech push, getting in between the Zerg rallies and really just disrupting their ability to get to that hive tech to kind of get out the big army.
Yeah, the most interesting thing when you look at Terran versus over the last few months is this big switch towards mech play, and it's manifested itself in many different manners. You have Terran players that will just go mech straight into battle cruisers, which we've seen this weekend. You have still the Raven, the turtle mech style, which is also very powerful, where you play a little bit more point defense drones, the secret missiles, and then there's really aggressive mech, which not quite as popular, but ForGG's he's been someone over the course of his career to show a lot of those very heavy aggressive plays. 2 factory Blue Flame Hellion Hellbat Banshee, I think, is one of his signature builds that he's used over the course of the last year too.
Yeah, you kill them with tanks and Thors, or you die trying, usually with ForGG. It's quite rare that he does do that starport transition. Is something that has been getting shown a bit more, especially lately. Heavy Banshee styles being mixed in with mech play has shown a lot of power as the Vikings can just blast the detection out of the sky.
Yeah, and we are counting down into the first map. It's going to be Cactus Valley. I'm really looking forward to seeing some mech play out of ForGG. That's what I'm hoping to see in this series. I think you got to stick to your guns and played well. It's currently the best way to play versus Zerg, and for someone that's as good as it as ForGG, that's what I'm hoping to see. We are just about ready to kick this off. Thank you guys so much for tuning in all day. People here have been lovely. People in chat have been lovely. And it is time to see who's going to escape this group. We're loaded into Cactus Valley for map number 1. In the northwest position, spawning as the blue Zerg player representing Evil Geniuses, it's Jaedong. Had a pretty convincing win against Aigas in his previous series, but a whole different piece of Terran here. In the southeast, we have the red Terran. He's ForGG.
Looking intense and focused as always. ForGG, a never-ending competitor. And he will be a little bit sad when he does eventually find out that it is cross spawns on Cactus Valley. That means the rush distance is a lot further. And in this matchup, naturally the Terran player does take a little bit of a more aggressive stance. That does mean his pushes will be slowed down. However, on the flip side, if ForGG is aiming for that mech play, it means any sort of roach aggression from Jaedong, any early busts are going to take a lot longer to get across the map.
Yeah, it's the kind of spawns that will force a longer game, and that doesn't mean that we can't see some aggression. It just means it's less likely to be successful. It'll be easier to defend, I guess I should say. As you mentioned, that rush distance really complicates things, particularly for Bio. If Jaedong's creep spread is as good this series as it was against Aigas, it's almost like the rush distance doesn't matter because your units just go so fast when you spread your creep as quickly as Jaedong has.
Oh yeah, and on a map this huge, that is so important. There's so many paths. As the Zerg player in cross spawns, you're going to need to push creep in at least 3 different directions to cover your push paths, so it will take a lot of effort. And in Zerg vs Terran, this is such a momentum-based matchup. So as these players clash, what we're really going to be looking for, and I mean, it's these guys' playstyle, it's what they focus on, is getting tempo for themselves, putting their opponent on the back foot, so that they can't pay as much attention to their harassment, to their creep spread. ForGG especially, a guy who loves to get in the Zerg player's face and overwhelm them with that harassment.
Yeah, and we already see that the way he's just going to open up with this Reaper. It is a 4-player map, so you can't really be certain where the other guy is going to be at the start of the game. He didn't move out with an SCV either, so he would be susceptible if he opened with just a single Reaper against a Zergling backstab of some kind, but I think he's got a pretty good choice whether he wants to get the second Reaper or not. I don't personally think that it's too big of a deal, since if an Overlord had come by, he would have most likely spotted it by now.
I mean, on a 4-player map like this, those early Zergling plays are a lot less common, so yeah, it looks like he will go for that reactor, and those Marines will be popping out in just about a minute or so's time. They will be able to protect that. Of course, the Reaper going for this delayed scout, it is a bit of a less common opening without the SCV on this big 4-player map. Not going to be able to get over there to harass, but this Reaper is going to serve the function of, once ForGG figures out where Jaedong is, he's going to be able to check everything, look for the gas timing, and that's what's very interesting about Jaedong's build. Jaedong, over in his base, has not dropped a gas yet. He showed it against Aigas on this map with the 3-hatch before pool build, but this time, just with a standard opening, not going for the gas. Looks like he may want to open up with 4 queens, maybe add some roaches, a very economic playstyle, but he's not going to have the same mobility.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to ask you about, Pig, because I think ForGG, compared to Aigas especially, is much more the type of guy that will, with this reactive barracks, squeeze out those Marines, but then just go straight up, like just Banshee Hellbats. Like, these 4 Marines come out, he still builds Marines out of the barracks, and he just does like a straight up frontal assault.
ForGG Reapers staying true to the ForGG Reaper name somehow gets a drone kill, as well as forcing a Spore Crawler and an Extractor trick. I mean, it's such an annoying spot for Jaedong. He sees no Reaper at the normal timing, doesn't build any Zerglings, just the original 2, and then suddenly the delayed Reaper comes in, still gets a bunch of damage done. A very nice bit of early pressure for Jaedong, getting some momentum going.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, he does actually let that Extractor finish whilst building one in his main base, so he can use this to get out the forces that he may think he needs to defend. But, well, the starport is going to complete very soon. We have Hellions in production. I'm just waiting to see an armory now. Like, it just kind of feels like that's what ForGG does. Like, if he doesn't get an armory, I'll be a little surprised.
ForGG just loves this build lately. This is the original, what some people used to call a flash timing. You keep on building Marines out of this barracks. No add-ons on that or the starport. Fast medevac on the way, lots of Hellions, and the armory does go down. You called it, Nate. He's going to be going for that big Hellbat-based push. He's going to hit the front with a medevac, about 6 to 8 Marines, and about 6 Hellbats. This is a very powerful push. Jaedong is putting down a Roach Warren, but he's going to need to build Roaches almost immediately when that finishes, or they're just not going to be ready in time.
And pushes like this were still very popular on maps like King Sejong Station, you know, going all the way back to the beginning of the year. We've been seeing it for quite some time. And you can even do that drop in the natural expansion and run the Hellions by, or excuse me, the drop into the main and run the Hellions by into the natural.
Yep.
And even then, ForGG, he's the guy that likes to escalate things. So he's not just going to macro behind this. He's going to add on Banshees behind it, which can also help deal with a Roach counterattack. Maybe even go for Cloak, be a bit more greedy of him, and he will. And here we go, just this big frontal push.
5 Roaches are in the production tab. Now 7. Jaedong's realizing what's up. He needs to just buy time for those to get out. If they can get out, he can crush this attack. ForGG needs to get some damage done. He needs to get it done right now, trying to get on top of these queens.
Yeah, he's going to already start to force out the energy to be spent from them. And since he's on top of the Roaches, as they finish up, he can immediately go for them, but he wants to grab the queens instead, because what he's going to do is kill all the anti-air by the time the Banshees get in, and that will allow them to even do further damage. But he moves over to the natural, so he's going to start to kill some drones with these, and we can see he gets all the queens as well.
Every queen wasting so much mining time, getting a lot of drones here as well. If he runs in these 2 Hellions, they might be able to kill even more. Very nice damage so far for ForGG, getting a lot of mining time, 5 drones and 3 queens. There is no queens out right now for Jaedong.
It's so brilliant because his cloak is almost done too. There's no overseer either. There's only 1 queen halfway done. The second one has just started. And with ForGG making Banshees, he has the possibility to walk in. There's no spores either. He can just walk in and start nailing drones left and right.
This is a really common follow-up, but Jaedong doesn't spot it until right now. He's going to rely on the Overseers to defend. He is making an Overseer here at his base. He's going to have some queens popping out, but if ForGG just focuses the drones, he can kill them very quickly.
Yeah, I mean, he could just focus on the queen too, because the Banshee wins 1v1, then it cloaks. There's no Overseer, so suddenly this queen dies, and now the Banshee has free reign over the mineral line, just working on drones left and right, and the second Banshee's coming out. This is so stressful because Roach speed's on the way, but there's not even a Spire. There's nothing to actually finish this Banshee harass.
ForGG trying to dive with Hellions at the same time. He wants to kill those drones. He's actually missed a Roach counterattack coming across the map that's about to hit his natural, but he is devastating Jaedong right now. Jaedong's Roaches, which he's about to spot at his natural, they need to do huge damage.
And the funniest part about all of this, you know, the first person view is great, but I feel like I'm just once again watching ForGG stream. He's building Hellions, he's building Banshees, and he is crushing face with these forces, just slowing down his opponent so much while he gets that 3rd command center and begins that transition into mech.
Oh, hitting his timing just so crisply did ForGG. His follow-up coming in right on time, and he's done so much damage, continuing to do damage here, up to another 11 workers killed.
Once these Roaches are handled, especially if he sees these next wave, if he can just push these back, then he's got so many Banshees that he could still start to contest these queen count, because the queen count is only at 2. 1 Banshee wins 1v1, but if he moves in with those 3 Banshees, even with the weakened one, he could still knock back that 3rd or gain an area between any 2 of the bases.
And he's continuing that Banshee production, so this small squad of Roaches will be defended by the next Banshee that pops. Meanwhile, 3 Banshees over there will do massive damage. Jaedong's just struggling to re-drone.
He needs a Spire. He needs a Spire is what he needs, and he can't afford it because of the damage he took from this push. And now, okay, you killed 1 Banshee, but now your 3rd base is basically forfeit, because these are going to kill all the queens here. They're going to shut down the Spore Crawler that's building. They're going to kill any drones that are still left behind in this base. And this is just ForGG controlling the units that he knows how to use best, the best.
Oh, such beautiful control from ForGG, putting on hold position just out of range of that Spore Crawler, and so many drones are going down. This is a nightmare for Jaedong. Oh, this is the elimination match in the round of 16. He does not want to go out here. Finally comes down and snipes down a Banshee, but he has been bruised, he has been battered, and right now he has to struggle to recover.
Yeah, this Banshee escapes with 10 kills under her name. Just so much damage done. And okay, the next Roach push is going to come in, but there's still nothing to worry about as far as Mutalisks go, so it's not even bad to keep building Banshees. With 3 Banshees on the map, these Roaches aren't going to accomplish anything.
Non-stop production. I love this. ForGG, one of those few players who's confident to just keep on building these harassment units, because he knows not only can they keep doing damage, but they can defend the counter pressure. And all of these Roaches out of Jaedong are completely helpless. They can't do anything. Jaedong trying to just recover in that drone count. He is dropping the Spire. He's going to bank on getting out Mutalisks as his next way to deal with the Banshees.
This Banshee this Spire is just too little too late is the problem. He's taken so much damage. ForGG, one of the reasons why he continues to build Banshees after that phase of the game where they're normally not relevant anymore, as they come in and start to kill even more Queens, is they usually just don't expect it. You're always prepared for the Spire follow-up with these Thors.
Oh, but a nice Roach counterattack here from Jaedong does push in, but 2 Thors pop out just in time. Will they be able to deal with these Roaches? They are starting to mince a few of them up, but the Roach focus fire on those Thors is good. The SCV's trying to hug these Roaches, but great micro from Jaedong to get big damage done there.
Yeah, all the drones at the third base are going to be killed, and this is one of those reasons why it can be a little good to go for these Roach pushes, as the Thor not quite the answer, but a Banshee's going to finish up, so ForGG's willing to trade out his SCVs. He just wants to kill all of the drones here, and I think he's going to be able to do that. I think he's going to deal game-winning damage with this Hellion push.
His Banshees will eventually clean it up at home, so if he can just cripple Jaedong's economy, this will be a good move for ForGG. ForGG playing gun-ho as always, unafraid. He does not pull home to defend. He will drive home his offense, and we can see those drone kills piling up in that tab. Yes, a lot of SCVs are going down, but those mules are still there. Those mech units are still popping out.
Yeah, and the biggest thing is when you're playing mech, you don't really care about minerals anyway. It's all about having enough gas to keep pumping out those tanks, those Thors, those Banshees. And it's 14 SCVs to 32 drones, but you said it, Pig, he's still got mules.
Yeah, I mean, that being said, Jaedong with these follow-up waves, if he can do some good damage, this is going to be fantastic. It may be his saving grace. I mean, he's done something good here. He's got the Spire up at home, so these Banshees won't be able to counterattack on their own. Denying the mining on this third is good now for Jaedong. He's trying to rebuild his drones at home. If he can manage to get up to 55, 60 drones, he may be able to hang on. And ForGG's economy has been severely stunted.
Yeah.
We cannot undersell that. I mean, the thing ForGG has going for him is this powerful bunch of units. Banshees, Thors, and even a Hellion run by heading across the map. But I don't know if he has that much economy.
He's actually lost quite a bit more than it looked like initially in terms of the worker count. It really has slowed him down. But these drone kills, every single worker pickoff, every mineral delayed or prevented from being mined is really crucial right now for ForGG, because even though Jaedong has that Spire, doesn't really have the mineral income to actually build a bunch of Mutalisks just yet.
And we do already have +2 attack on ForGG's vehicles as opposed to 0-1. Only 1 carapace upgrade for Jaedong, so he's very far behind there.
No carapace for air either, which means that the +2 Thors are going to Shrek these Mutalisks if they engage them at all.
That makes them 33% more effective. They kill them in 1 less shot. It's absolutely brutal. Oh, the Banshee squad coming across again. 3 mutas in the production tab for Jaedong, but even those are going to take forever to deal with these Banshees. ForGG has a window here to get some more damage done. He might even just go straight for the hatchery. It's already damaged.
Yeah, I mean, picking off this hatchery right now is like close to a game-winning move for him, as he really needs to just hurt this economy a little bit more to secure his position. And it looks like he should be able to get it. Without a queen nearby to transfuse, the Mutalisks will not kill the Banshees in time. And what I'd like to see him do is just spread the Banshees out, make it so the Mutas can't chase. But at the same time, big counterattack going over to the natural expansion. The Roaches are going to run by, but they haven't killed too many SCVs.
Oh, getting cleaned up. ForGG is on top of everything right now. His Banshees have crippled the economy of Jaedong. Jaedong's Poultry Mutaforce coming across to try and punish them, but the Overseer cannot keep up with those cloaked Banshees, and most of them escape to fight another day.
Yeah, very impressed actually by Jaedong's use of Contaminate. He's hit it on the starport once or twice so far in this game. He's actually tagged one of the factories with it, really delaying him, but gotta be careful around these Thors. That +2 attack is so strong.
Oh, trying to get on top of it is Jaedong, but this is not going to work. That missile turret is just ripping those Mutalisks apart. They're left in tiny pieces, decorating the battlefield. Ribbons of Mutalisk feathers just lying all over the place. Once again, ForGG moving in with another Hellion run by.
There's one thing that's really nice as the Hellions go for that counterattack is that by killing off the Thor, he's forcing ForGG into thinking, okay, I need more Thors. He's building 3 at a time, but all Jaedong's making at this time are Roaches. I think that with 2 siege tanks to cover this, though, he should still be okay.
So many mutas going down there. A ballsy move from Jaedong trying to take advantage of a perceived lack in anti-air.
Over 100 workers have died this game already.
Oh yeah, this is exactly what we wanted to see from these guys, an action-packed game, but it does just seem like ForGG is getting the better end of these trades. Yes, he's only even in supply, but he's got the better upgrades. He's got +3 vehicle weapons on the way. He's got Banshees, Thors, and tanks. These are high-quality units going up against +1 Carapace Roaches and a handful of Mutalisks. What can Jaedong do? here?
Even in supply has a whole different meaning when you're playing mech too. This army is just so hard to stop. Jaedong actually needs to try to, I imagine, force a siege up prior to him reaching the outside edge of the base, but that's really hard to do because these Banshees are always going to lead the charge. Since they're faster than the Thors, they can bully these roaches back and create space for the siege tanks to get in position.
A Spore Crawler and 2 meters of the lone anti-air here for Jaedong. He needs to find a way to hang on, coming in with the flank of roaches, but when you've got only as many roaches as they have tanks, it's a brutal fight. 2 tanks go down from the focus fire, but the Thors just destroy the remaining roaches.
And that Banshee support, the Queens try to run out and help, but it's not going to be enough. 3 Thors for 4GG with all these Hellbats pushing the front. Hydralisks are going to start to pop out, but Thors actually wrecked those too. And in very low numbers of shots, he has another couple of siege tanks that's going to completely zone him out. GG, 4GG takes game number 1.
4GG, so decisive, hitting a crisp, hard timing. Yes, roaches were the answer, but they just weren't ready in time. Jaedong just being seconds too slow, and as soon as 4GG got that momentum, he ran away with that game.
Yeah, he's done this so many times before. You hit him really hard at the start of the game. You go for that big play off the back of the Reaper doing a nice bit of harass. You get those Queen kills with the Hellbat Marine push, and the Zergs thinking to themselves, well, I didn't really lose too many drones to that attack. But then you realize, oh, I have no Queens, right as the Banshee starts to get to work. And that's where 4GG just ran away with this game.
That is the position 4GG loves, getting into those scenarios. Of course, we're going to find out if Jaedong can pull it back right after this quick ad break.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the World Championship Series Premier League Round of 16. This is the decider match for Group D. This is the last best of 3 of the Round of 16, Pig.
We're about to find out who will be the last player going to the top 8 playoffs, and one of these guys has to go home here. Jaedong or 4GG. Who could possibly imagine a top 8 of WCS without without one of these names in it, it's such a hard position to be in, and Jaedong especially there has to be feeling the pressure, only one game away from being completely eliminated from WCS.
Yeah, there's so much on the line, especially if you're Jaedong, especially if you're ForGG. You want to take this to the next level. You know, there's only one more tournament remaining that gives out WCS points after this before BlizzCon.
This is the most pivotal point in their career. They need to win this to go to BlizzCon. ForGG as well, exercising, stretching out his arms there. He's got that tension running through his body as well. He's been here 1,000 times before, but this is even more important than most of those other tournaments. And here, going into Terraform, as we're about to, is where they need to make it happen.
Yeah, this is a very important match. Only one of these men can advance on to play in Krakow this weekend. It's time to find out who that man shall be as we're loaded into Terraform. Map number 2 in this best of 3. In the top left position, we have the blue Zerg player. He needs to win the next 2 maps. Can he do it? He's EG Jaedong. Had a much rougher time from this roughneck Terran player in the southeast, bringing out the mech. It's Millennium's ForGG.
I like that you call him a roughneck Terran player, because he does kind of strike you sometimes in this matchup as the guy who comes up and kind of grabs you by the scruff of the neck and just shakes you around as his Zerg opponent. And last game is exactly what that looked like. I'm sure Jaedong going into this game is kind of biting his lip a little bit, thinking, damn it, if I just had those roaches out a bit earlier. He's like, I'm not going to underestimate ForGG's aggression this time around. I'm really going to lock down the hatches, and I'm not going to let him get in there and disrupt everything.
Yeah, it's really, really interesting when you look at what people's expectations are. You know, if you watch a lot of competitive StarCraft, like think lately mech, it's like, oh, okay, that's that slow style. They turtle up. Marine Lord did this earlier. And it's like, actually, that last game went 20-plus minutes and was nonstop action from the mech player ForGG. And it also goes in hand to, Jaedong constantly hitting with the counter harass. But ForGG is just... he's not the kind of guy to sit back. He's not the kind of guy that likes to just chill. And if he's going to play mech versus you, he's going to be up in your face the whole time. And that really puts on a lot of pressure if you're the Zerg player in that position.
It makes it very hard to respond. We could see, even in last game, Jaedong is anticipating this play. He went for the roaches preemptively, expecting the mech play. But even then, because of ForGG's unexpected aggressive timing hitting so hard, he just wasn't able to stop it, and things got out of control. So no matter how well you're prepared for the style ForGG is going to hit you with, you never know the exact timings that he's going to attack. He's always going to find a way to get under your skin and throw you off your game.
Yeah, that's just the mark of a player who's just been around for so long. ForGG plays so much StarCraft, quite honestly, it's like non-stop. Like I was saying, you could tune in almost any day of the week. I guess not this one because he's here playing here, but just constantly playing, constantly laddering, doing such a wide variety of build orders. But if there's one thing that, really rings true with him, it's that Hellion Banshee control. And if you're Jaedong, that's something you really have to be wary of. His Spire was so late, ForGG loves playing just Banshees versus Queens. He'll out-micro you all day.
And we can already see the Reaper coming out. ForGG wanting to put on that pressure. He's here, one game away from progressing to that top 8, and he's doing what is tried and true. Jaedong on the other side, going away from that gasless play he played last game, going back to his roots. He's getting a gas. He's going to be going for the Zergling speed very quickly because he does not want to let this game get out of control. If he loses this, he's out. He is gone and already making a slip-up. His Ling's running out of the base as the Reaper hops in, almost losing a drone.
Yeah, needs to be very careful because, uncharacteristically, most Zerg players, at the top level, don't lose drones to Reapers. ForGG picked one off on the last map at the very beginning, and even just something like that really sets the tempo. It's like, yes, I am going to perfectly control my forces in your face, and you are going to have to really play on another level if you want to advance past this round.
ForGG wants to pile that pressure on here. He wants to throw Jaedong off. Once again, diving in with the Reaper. Other players would feel like it's a suicide, but forcing these buildings out, forcing this expenditure, and really throwing Jaedong around, running into the main base again. This is the ForGG Reaper we always talk about. It just will not give up until it has run you in circles. Jaedong has to keep it together under this pressure and keep it cool, because this Reaper, he's not going home until you force him out.
Yeah, I have to say, if there's one thing that, as it finally dies, he still got in and did a good amount of scouting, but these Reapers certainly are maximized when it comes to cost effectiveness as far as what you can get out of them. The Hellions are going to start to come out now. We just have Marine production again and that starport. ForGG might even just do the same thing again.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. ForGG doing the exact same opening so far. He may change up the execution, doesn't need to add the armory, could just do a Marine drop in the back of the main, Hellions run by at the front, an older variety, or he could do the exact same build. And this is such a mind game in this situation. We saw it in the round of 32 with Hitman. Hey, if it's worked one time, if my opponent is in the pressure, he's in that position where one game away from losing, if I do the exact same build, what could be more tilting than destroying him with this?
Yeah, if ForGG suspects that Jaedong isn't going to rush out Mutalisks, which, you know, he's going for the Spire at a pretty fast pace. Again, you know, it's not the fastest Spire ever, but he could still comfortably just play versus Roaches or just Zerglings. His Hellion control is among the best, and his Overlord sees the medevac. He drops out to try to snipe it, but he won't be able to kill that Overlord.
And that does give away some of ForGG's intentions. We have seen the armory on the way, so it does look like it's going to be another Hellbat one, but ForGG sending his Hellions around the north side, looking like he may want to hide them. Nope, going to meet up with that medevac. He wants to put on the frontal attack, and he wants to do it now.
Same exact follow-up too. He's going into the Banshees, he's going into the Cloak. You said it dead on, man. If it's not broke, no need to fix it. And these Queens are going to start to push away the medevac. We have the Hellbats here. There is a Spine to fall back on this time. A much stronger structured defense.
No Baneling Nest is ready just yet, but he's put a lot of damage on this medevac. Fantastic focus fire there from Jaedong. Look at this. ForGG checks the third, sees that it's not there, and still decides to commit it to the natural. This is a very ballsy maneuver from ForGG, committing when he's seen that Jaedong's only on 2 bases.
Yeah, he wants to get down this Spine Crawler, move forward. The medevac does get picked off. Here come the Banelings.
He has to
ForGG needs to spread out. He does spread somewhat reasonably, but with this many Zerglings to help follow it up, he will be able to clean this up. He did use every single Baneling, though. ForGG has the option to keep rallying Hellions across with this Banshee and try to make a big push work, but let's compare to the last map. There's 4 Queens alive.
Oh, he's in control of this game, is Jaedong. He
His wall's
shut
not
that
done.
down. Those units aren't out. There's no more pressure. And the Lings are even flooding across the map. There is so much threat here for ForGG. His eyes on the map are closed down. All he has is this Banshee. And Jaedong, at the moment of reckoning, shuts down ForGG's attempted repeat of the same attack.
Yeah.
Jaedong now is in the driver's seat. He can feel that bit of safety, that bit of calm as he gets into momentum. He gets into the comfortable spot that he knows he can win from.
And the Overseer is not actually over here just yet, so force out another transfuse, but then shows up Banshee, might get picked off, just barely going to be able to stay alive a little longer.
It can outrun the Overseer. The Overseer is slower than that Banshee, so nice control by ForGG, even snagging a drone on the way out. ForGG looking very calm and focused here, but he has not done the damage he wanted to. He is still got to get something going.
And ForGG's doing his thing. We saw Marine Lord make this exact same play versus Fast Spire. He dots every single possible eye in this list. You know, he checks every single mark for what his opponent could be up to. He's like, okay, you're going Spire? Well, I can stop building Banshees. He swaps the reactor that he was using to build Hellions on for that starport to build Vikings, and then goes straight into Thors. Mutalisks are not going to give him much of an advantage in this game yet.
And the Banshee coming in, scouting around, killing a few drones. That is nice. But, oh, does lose the Banshee in the main base. Interestingly enough, Jaedong has actually preempted ForGG's reaction and is only just now building a few mutas. He did not rush to them. He's just getting them to clean up the Banshees, put on very light pressure, but he's not committing, expecting to do damage. And if we look at the minimap, we can see Overlords are moving into position to try and drop creep, but ForGG is on top of it, denies the attempt to goop up his third base.
I am quite concerned, though, at this moment for ForGG, mostly because that third command center hasn't even started yet, and I'm sure he's about to begin it, but that will give Jaedong enough time to saturate his third and get roach speed. And I feel like if you have the roach speed and those upgrades, taking that third is very difficult as a Terran because with 2 bases, you can't really afford to build many mech units.
I mean, he's still on 1 factory production right now. This is a really hard spot for ForGG. Yeah, he's got Thors, he's got Vikings, he's got turrets. It's like, great, you're not going to take damage from the mutas. But Jaedong, so smart, didn't prioritize the mutas. He finished the Spire and just droned his third up.
Other things that are also important to keep in mind, compared to the last game, Jaedong has +1 flyer on the way, which will prevent his Mutalisks from being two-shotted by these Thors once they get that +2 attack. So everything already coming up a lot better for Jaedong relative to the last map.
Jaedong can finally take a breath of fresh air. He has that space to breathe. No longer is he on the brink of defeat, the brink of elimination. His mutas here, zoning around, seeing no third base out yet. He feels comfortable. He knows that ForGG's economy is down, and he can just start massing up roaches off his 3 bases, adding a 4th base at the same time. And Jaedong is going to aim to stop ForGG ever getting up a 3rd base. He's going to mass roaches. Yeah. He's going to go in with the Roachling muta the moment ForGG moves out, and he's going to crush into that, aiming to destroy it. And look at the factories. He's adding 4 factories, but there's no tanks out. How can he possibly stop this Roach Swell?
He went back into Hellbat production, and as good as Hellbats are against the Zergling part of that, the Roach count is climbing very fast. We have about 20 Roaches going to be on the field in the next 30 seconds. Burrow is even on the way. I'm imagining after Roach speed, he'll go for a Burrow move. ForGG needs to be very, very careful the next few minutes because he doesn't have anything right now that can actually handle those Roaches.
This is such an impossible situation for ForGG. He somehow needs to hang on in a careful position, but losing even individual Hellions, he cannot afford that. I mean, he's got a couple Thors. He's starting 2 tank production at a time, but even with such a thin natural wall, this is a very difficult position. And Jaedong is dropping a 4th base behind this. Yeah, looks like Jaedong just spreading creep everywhere. He's just getting into that swarm mode.
He's so active, you can just see constantly looking all over the map, constantly checking for that 3rd base too, and he sees the gases being taken, so he knows, okay, this is my opportunity. ForGG is going to spread himself out trying to defend this base. If I can get some damage done, I'm going to be in a really nice spot.
Oh, the Roaches are coming in. Looks like Jaedong wants to finish here. He wants to catch ForGG's army. He crashes into the 3rd base, but ForGG, realizing the risky spot he's in, has not moved out of his natural just yet. He is locking down on 2 bases, and he's saying, I've just got to somehow build up on this low economy. I've got to defend, and maybe Jaedong will stay on low enough tier tech that I can somehow secure a delayed 3rd and defend my way out of this game.
I mean, with this many Roaches right outside of his base, it will be so difficult. The one thing that's nice is he's trimmed the Mutifat enough that the Vikings can actually contest these Mutalisks, which means the Banshees can work on these Roaches. Don't lose your command center, please. That was a potentially very ugly moment there, and I love that the Burrow immediately just tucks a Roach under there, says, yeah, I'm going to delay this even more. This is, for all intents and purposes, Pig, an absurdly late 3rd for the Terran.
It really is, but ForGG is being so careful. He's getting his supply up, and keep in mind, Jaedong's hive has only just begun. Jaedong taking a long time to tech up to those units which obliterate this army. He's got units which are decent against the mech army, but if it gets to a big enough size, then ForGG will have a chance against this. But for the moment, Jaedong looking like he just wants to max on Roach Hydra, and he's going to have to find an angle. But with a lot of choke points on this map, it could be very difficult. Look, even that tactical barracks, setting up a miniature wall there, these sort of blocks to slow down any surround is very key.
If he was to try to attack move any Zerglings towards the natural, they would go for the barracks first, and that siege tank would be able to spot it in just the nick of time. Most of Jaedong's Roaches, though, are northeast of that 3rd base, and they're going to just poke in and just be annoying. These gases are so important, and they're the most exposed parts of the 3rd on this map.
Just going up with the Banshees, ForGG knows he can't afford to be pulled out of position. He's got to keep all of his units centered around that one central location between his natural and 3rd base. Oh, finally putting on a little bit of counter-aggression with these Hellions is ForGG. Gonna come in here, pick up a couple of drones.
He's like, there's no drones here to kill. There's something wrong. What are you doing, Jaedong?
Importantly, he is buying a bit of time. He's pulling Jaedong's attention away. He's delaying the inevitable assault upon his 3rd base.
And he knows Hydras are on the way out too, so he's not doing some weird bounce back between Mutalisks and Roaches either.
Oh, this is the point where ForGG's got to be quaking in his boots a little bit. I mean, he went for the same build as Game 1. It has not worked out, and now his back is up against the wall. Jaedong so close to equalizing, but with every tick of supply, every moment that ForGG gets closer to max is a moment where he can withstand this onslaught. However, I mean, look at that in the production tab. That looks pretty scary.
It's so nice that he has this many Vikings because it preemptively has it's a preemptive defense against Viper's blinding clouding, and it also allows those Banshees to just get so much work done. This is going to be where things get really tricky because if ForGG is allowed to secure 4 bases, Jaedong is going to have a really hard time killing him.
Jaedong's given him so much time. I'm actually feeling a bit worried for Jaedong. Look at this, even a Banshee picking up a bunch of worker kills down here. I mean, 5 workers for a Banshee, it's not massive, but look at Jaedong's worker count. He's only on 61 drones right now. Yeah, he's got 2,000, 3,000 minerals in the bank, but he has no gas. He cannot remax with this army. Okay. He has not rushed up to that 4th base. It is all about this one big attack. And ForGG is actually on 4 bases. Like, Jaedong has to do incredibly well here. He has to break him. It's all about the blinding clouds.
Yeah, I'm very concerned. I'm following these Vipers. There's not in position to actually defend against this. Just cancels the planetary. He's going to retreat back over towards the siege tanks, but blinding clouds those very easily. And now ForGG being pushed all the way back towards that natural area. He has not been able to get rid of all the Vipers.
His army is very spread out. There aren't a lot of siege tanks. They're all up towards the third base. But oh, look at this funneling around the barracks. This is where the meat grinder happens. The tanks are starting to destroy this Roach Hydra, but a lot of valuable mech units are going down. Jaedong getting some profits, but the Banshees! Oh my
Oh,
god!
the Hellion counterattack, too, running in. Good burrow from Jaedong. Try to buy some time, but he's losing some of his Hydralisks to those as well. He comes in, he sees, okay, that Ultralisk Cavern is done, but he's trying to get some counterattack work done here. ForGG is actually making a bit of a play.
Jaedong, he's one game away from being eliminated, and now suddenly from a powerful position, he is down in supply. He's feeling the pressure.
Counter.
He just gave ForGG too much time and then took huge damage to the counterattack. Jaedong has to feel the sweat on his brow right now, and ForGG looking calm as ever, realizing that he is resurrecting himself from the grave in this game.
Yeah, he has exactly. He's really plucked himself out of the ground with this one. The Banshees were so instrumental in helping to push that back, even though he wasn't able to kill all the Vipers. As a Terran, in the aftermath of that fight, the Overseers oftentimes will just fly right through your turrets, and then it's like, actually, my Cloak Banshees are untouchable, killing even more drones now. And Jaedong,
oh
boy.
He cannot afford this, even losing Hydralisks to these Blue Flame Hellions. 7 drones already going down. ForGG is getting another 4th base established and killing so many drones at the same time.
Oh man, and that's the thing though. Those Hydralisks are so expensive, but if you're a Terran player, Hellions are dirt cheap. They don't cost any gas. They don't influence your ability to build those powerful units. You know, he's just splashing the pot with these Blue Flame Hellions.
Oh, ForGG stabilizing here, getting control of the game. Still, oh, this command center being exposed. Jaedong has to pull it together. He has to get snipes like that, and that's a big one. Picking that up, he feels a little bit of momentum swinging back in his direction. Jaedong here has to stabilize. He has to dig deep right now, and great positioning on these roaches. He's going to shut down this next counterattack. Jaedong is getting back in control of this game. He's got a low economy, but he's still got a big army. His 3-3 has just finished, and he knows this is the moment where he needs to show those champion qualities that he is so famous for.
Here's the problem when it comes to Jaedong's position, and this does concern me a little bit. ForGG has 3 Banshees in production. He has 4 starports. He's not in a position where Broodlords can not necessarily catch him off guard, but he has what he needs to respond to them as soon as he knows that they're coming. And this concerns me because he needs to be really careful as these Hellions constantly run around scouting everything that he's doing, and even more drones getting picked off, roasted and toasted at this 4th base.
Oh, nice pickups once again. ForGG can trade his Hellions off for drones like this for days, especially because Jaedong doesn't have the bank to absorb these little bits of damage. He's still only at about 60 drones. He's starved for minerals. He's actually got a bigger gas bank than mineral bank right now, and ForGG's army is starting to balance out very nicely. Extra command centers in the production tab, extra vehicle weapons, and he is almost maxed out. ForGG's army is looking so scary, and oh my god, 11 Banshees in the production tab.
Yeah, he's trying to come in through and knock down this 4th base. Once again, the Banshees are all going to cloak. The siege tanks are in the back. They're blinding clouded, but the Banshees are still able to fire. He's pushed back the Overseers. He's actually almost killed both of them. There's still one last one alive, so the Hydras can do a little bit of work here, but the Banshees still trade cost effectively. At the same time, he somehow manages to get Hellions inside of his base once again, picking off more and more drones, picking off the Queen, and also any possible larva. Then he's like, ForGG's like, you killed my planetary? I've got another command center. I can float command centers over to that base for days. Even more drones desperately trying to run as ForGG scans.
ForGG deflects Jaedong's swipe at the front, and behind, he trips him over, dives into his mineral line, and tears away Jaedong's BlizzCon dreams. Jaedong can feel this game slipping away from him right now.
And with that run by, he saw the Greater Spire. If he took one peek in that direction, then he'll know. Once these Corruptors pop out, he just needs to stop building Banshees and just go straight into Vikings. Now we have a couple more Vikings on the way. He only needs to build Vikings and Thors from this position to handle Broodlords.
And he's got those Vikings in the production tab, building more siege tanks. He may not realize just yet, but it doesn't even matter. I mean, he sees the Corruptors one more time, and he's killing so many drones, starting up 4 Vikings in the production tab behind this. Oh man, Jaedong's economy is just in tatters right now.
Especially now that he's finally driven under a Corruptor. He knows 100% what's coming. He's just building Vikings, just building Thors. Those are the units that ForGG needs to advance to the round of 8 here at the World Championship Series. Those are the units he needs to eliminate Jaedong from Season 3.
Jaedong has the map covered in creep. He sees everything, but ForGG is just too fast for him. He's running circles around him with his Hellions. His defensive force is strong, and yet he's always counterattacking at the same time. ForGG is putting on a masterclass of Mech Terran versus Zerg here. He is looking so powerful in this game. He doesn't even care about the creep spread because he has ripped Jaedong's economy away from him.
With 9 Banshees, every single time he strikes against those Roaches or Hydras, he's killing at least 2 or 3. The damage output is so high with those +3 upgrades, and they're even going to help stack into these Vikings against the Broodlords. Once 4GG has sight on these, it'll be so easy for him to take them out. I really feel like Jaedong needs to pull a miracle here to do this.
He needs a miracle indeed. I mean, he doesn't have that many drones, so his army is actually very huge, but 4GG still has a big army supply lead. He's got the right composition right now, and this base is looking like a stronghold. Jaedong collecting himself for one final attack, but he can't even focus on it because 4GG is once again running circles around him.
Yeah, he's just constantly getting those Hellions into his base, distracting him, forcing him to focus on other areas that aren't this fight. And now, here come the Broodlords. This could be it. The moment of truth as Jaedong tries to push once again this 4th base of 4GG. Can he actually make it happen? The Vikings are coming up. They're going to pick off the first Broodlord, going for number 2, and the Vipers are also exposed. He's going to try to abduct the Vikings, but there's just too many of them.
The Banshees coming in, an elite squadron of air units for 4GG, backed up by the Thors and tanks on the ground, is crushing through Jaedong's army. Jaedong's force is looking paltry in comparison to 4GG's huge force. The invisible Banshees raining death and terror upon this Zerg army.
Exactly. Those Banshees are just so fast. They are such a great support unit for catching these Hydralisks on the retreat. And now 4GG rolls up with his tanks. And I think this could be it. He's going to roll up to the round of 8-2 pick, pushing the 3rd base of Jaedong. Nothing to answer this army as he sieges up the last vestige of economy for Jaedong. There's nothing here that can stop this. The Roaches and Hydras can run around as much as they want, but 4GG just has so much. Those Banshees can go home to defend at any time.
4GG wants this so badly. He looked so down and out early on in this game after his early aggression failed, but he has pulled it back nicely. Jaedong doing a nice backstab there, but it's not enough right now. 4GG has another full mining base, and his Banshees are still just obliterating everything on the ground.
There's no Overseer here. The Banshees show up, man. That's it, man. The cavalry's here. That's basically what's happening. You have nothing to answer these Banshees. So much damage, and then you try to send Overseers, and the Vikings are here to intercept a few of them.
Oh, the Hydras trying to fight these Banshees. They get a couple, but Banshees kill them so quickly. 4GG now, it's the death push time. He's getting in between the rally points, and he's going to start killing the production of Jaedong. Jaedong can feel his dreams being ripped away from him. Such an unfortunate loss here, but 4GG has just played incredibly well. He just did not give Jaedong a chance to get back into this series.
Yeah, really just a master class of standard mech play. No turtle involved, just constant back and forth between these two titans as 4GG wrestles away game number 2 from Jaedong. GG! 4GG will be going to the round of 8 for Season 3 Premier League of the World Championship Series.
An indomitable performance by 4GG, doing what he knows best, how to be aggressive, how to go into that mech army, and how to play some of the best counter-attacking, multi-pronged aggressive style he can. What a beautiful series.
Yeah, just absolutely phenomenal play. You can really see Jaedong's stress there, and it's a sad moment to be knocked out. That's your BlizzCon dreams as well there. 4GG keeping his alive though.
I mean, that's such a hard way to go out there, but 4GG just looked stellar in every aspect. I mean, he was just on top of his game, and you can always see those moments where a player, they're down, they're behind in a game, and he so patiently expanded, and he took one step after another. And if he made a single mistake in that next series of decisions, he was out of the game, but he didn't slip up once. He made every decision perfectly, and Jaedong gave him just an inch of breathing room. 4GG took it, built up, and absolutely crushed that. 2-0.
It really seemed like the two key moments in that game. You have 4GG getting that late 3rd command center. You need to be able to take that 3rd base. And Jaedong tried to punish it with that big push, but the Banshees were just too much for him. They did a really phenomenal job of punishing, an overzealous Jaedong trying to end the game a little bit too soon. We'd love to hear 4GG's thoughts. He's over at the desk with Sean and Jeff.
Thank you very much, Nathanius. Congratulations, 4GG. You've gone through in 2nd place here. You've made it to the quarterfinals. You've made it to the playoffs. Talk to us a little bit about that series. Jaedong had a great series previously, and he looked fantastic. But you look great just as much as he did. You played a very, very good series. Were you worried about Jaedong at all?
Yeah, of course, he's very good player, and I really worry about. But before I come from here, I practice really a lot. So I believe my Zerg skill.
And there are multiple Zergs through to the next round as well, so that's good for you. Let's talk a little bit about the bigger picture here. You know, if you are first place in this tournament, you can play at the Global Finals, you can play at BlizzCon. Do you think about this a lot?
Yes.
A lot?
Yes, because my rank is 20, like same as always.
Yeah.
But if I good result season 3, I can make BlizzCon. So yeah, I believe.
I mean, there's a lot of very difficult opponents. Polt, Hydra, Lilbo. Are you in good enough condition to be able to beat these guys in the playoffs?
I think my TvT not really good. So if not Polt, I think I can beat everyone.
But TVT's your best matchup, man. It's your favorite.
My favorite, but I don't know.
In control.
Oh, just a fantastic series. It's really nice to see that mech play. You're kind of famous for it. But we didn't see what's like a Raven mech play, which I think is really common in mech. Are you more... Do you prefer the aggressive type, or are you okay with going the slow type with Raven?
I don't like just defense mech style. So I don't like Raven. I prefer Banshee.
Oh, the Banshees are good.
Yeah, what is the best way? I mean, Jaedong really seemed to struggle against the Banshees here. When you play against Zerg players on the ladder in practice, what is the best way to deal with that, the Viking Ravens? Viking Banshees, sorry.
Just Zerg player have to take base, defense, and make army, but Jaedong have a lot of mistake. First game he lose first overload.
Yeah.
So he dead so many worker, and second game also his roach push. He have to I think hide. So my tank position outside. If he push roach push, then I think maybe I got dead, but he's push little bit early. So I know, and I defense. So easy. After easy.
Well, congratulations on going through. One last question here for you. There's been a lot of rumors, there's been a lot of talks about your future in StarCraft. I know it's a bit of a negative subject considering you've just gone through in second place. But what are your plans? Are you looking to see out the year? You know, if you play at BlizzCon, fantastic, you can go there. But what are you doing next year? Can you tell us?
Next year?
Yeah.
Actually, I don't know yet.
Okay.
I didn't decide anything.
Okay.
So I'm still thinking.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much for clearing that up. And congratulations on going through to the playoffs. Look forward to seeing you play this weekend. And best of luck for GG. Let's check in with the bracket now. We've completed the round of 16. We've got our 8 players that are going to play this weekend in Kraków. I've been practicing that, and we can't wait to get over there. We're going to have a travel day tomorrow, and then, of course, the competition starts on Saturday. Lilbo first place from Group D, ForGG second place from Group D. And we've got an awesome set of players, and we've got an awesome guy joining us back on the desk. Of course, it's Rotterdam. Welcome back, my friend.
Yeah, just had to say congratulations to ForGG and also told them to stop stealing my ladder points because this is really not cool anymore.
He's a fantastic competitor, and he really showed it in that series versus Jaedong. He played his own style, and that's something that we can say about ForGG and should have said it and could have said it for years and years and years. He plays his own style, he sticks to it, and he won with it today.
That's one thing that really stands out for me. Like, game number 1 was obviously a little bit of a wild game because he killed so many workers, he killed so many queens. The Cloak Banshee follow-ups to something Jaedong didn't see coming. And then winning with mech, you know, that's one thing. Game number 2, his start wasn't that phenomenal. His first push didn't do that much damage.
Yep.
Nathan pointed it out. That third base was extremely late. At 16 minutes, that base went down. And if you then still make it work, work well, then obviously you really know what you're doing, because going up to 3 bases, the 16-minute mark, like, that's really late, and he still made it work. He just realized, okay, I'm required to play completely different right now, and his supply was still going up, obviously very slow, 150, 160, but he didn't make any silly moves out. He didn't go for regular mech timings because he knew that he was so far delayed, so that was just really smart and really adaptive play by him.
And guys, just reminding you real fast now, we are going to go to the play-off drawing, so do keep that in mind and don't tune out yet. That's going to be an excellent little turn of events to see who plays who this weekend. But in control, Jaedong, I mean, it is what it is, right? He's going to be disappointed with this loss. He could have played at the Global Finals. We knew that he wanted to play. He's going to be saddened by this, no doubt.
Of course. I think missing Season 1 definitely bites him in the butt here, and that was something that was not really even tragic. It was kind of a decision he made. He wanted to move to North America to compete over here, and it cost him a whole season, so he's just not, probably won't see him at BlizzCon. I do think he'll go to DreamHack. I'm not sure. I don't know. We'll see. But I think what's so cool about it is this is going to have to be a feather in his cap where he hopefully gets motivated for Legacy of the Void next year. And in his ashes, ForGG rises. It's a cool story for him, too. Like, we've seen some up and down results from ForGG as well. He's no longer the dominator that he used to be, and it's nice to see him on that upward swing, besting a foe that a lot of people thought he would lose to, and then moving on to the round of 8. It's a cool story.
It is a cool story, and hopefully he can perform this weekend because he does need to now. He takes that kind of burden from Jaedong and carries it himself. Let's check in now, and this is the pit stop time with our predictions. We finished our shows here in the studio. Let's have a look at who is where so far. Nathanius is at 80%, and at this lockdown, before we go to the weekend playoffs, goes in first place. Jeff, you crawling back.
Mm-hmm.
You crawling back.
Yeah.
Slowly but surely.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think looking at this, Roddy?
Nathan having 4 out of 5 series in general correct. That's very impressive, man, especially with the upsets that we've had so far. He called ForGG here in the end as well, called Kung Fu earlier. I'm very impressed with my boy. We've been teasing him, but you gotta give credit where credit is due. 80% after so many best of 3s. Like, how many best 3s are we in? Like 20, right?
In 20, yeah.
Yeah,
20.
so I mean that's very good.
Well done, Nathanius.
Yeah.
It's the best thing you've done this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, the commentary has been.
It's been rocky. It has been rocky, but your predictions have been on the spot. And also, we are going to go to that break, but happy birthday in control. It's your birthday.
Is it?
Happy birthday.
No.
It is.
No.
Well,
It
I mean,
is.
it might be, but don't sing.
It is. It is 10 past 12 here in Europe. Happy birthday. You're an officially old person. You're 30 years
I'm
of
in my
age.
early 30s.
No longer late 20s.
I was thinking about it, actually, with Todd, Artosis, and White Raw as being the eldest, like the elders of the community. We're all Protoss. Now we're all 30. I mean, Artosis is like 45, but
Roddy plays Protoss. He's not too far away himself, actually.
he's 28. You're 28,
Pretty
right?
far away, Sean. That's
28?
like light years away. Yes, just turned.
He's 28. Drinks a lot of Red Bull and smokes, though, so it's kind of like
He's more like
got the
35
body of a
inside,
70-year-old.
Still a bronze god, yeah.
Thank you very much, gents. We've had a lot of fun this week, but we are not done yet. We're going to go to a quick break, and when we return, it's time to draw the playoffs. Who plays who this weekend?